don't touch that dial. It's Dr. Abby Barnes with the truth about cats and dogs, and you're on the air.
I have a cat, and he licked up and down my face, and now I got this rash.
How long did this tongue bath last?
About 3 hours.
Okay, this is a good time to talk about limits. You can love your pets, but just don't love your pets.
Abby was the kind of woman who knew exactly what she wanted.
3 years, no sex? One can survive, you know. This is the electronic age.
Noelle was exactly the kind of woman
You burp and guys think it's adorable. You puke and they line up to hold your hair back.
every man wanted. Then one day, Abby got a call.
Well, I've got a dog here that's got roller skates.
Gave a little advice.
Get down on all fours. You're going to have to approach him in a submissive position.
And told a little lie.
I'm 5'10", blonde, hard to miss.
Okay, I'll see you there.
You have to help me. I just want you to be me when he comes in here, okay? Brian, right?
Yeah, hi, Abby.
Yeah. This is my friend, Donna.
You sound completely different on the air.
You should hear me in the shower.
Brian doesn't know it.
I really like this woman.
You just met her.
I know, but you know when you speak to someone, you just feel it.
But the woman with the voice he loves.
Hello?
What would you say to her in a bar?
You don't strike me as the shy type.
He's probably jealous.
And the face he adores.
You have to admit you're not the same person you were on the phone last night.
Is more than one woman.
Our turtle's sick. Can you help us out?
He's got pneumonia.
All you have to do is grab the turtle's leg, poke him in the butt with your finger. You want me to stick my finger on the turtle's leg?
20th Century Fox presents
She is all that and a bag of chips.
Uma Thurman.
He's got this small personal habit that just drives me crazy.
What's that?
He loves you.
Janeane Garofalo.
You love Abby because she's so beautiful.
Yes, she is, but that's not why I love her.
The truth is, you would not be so enamored with Abby if she looked like...
I love Abby. It doesn't matter what she looks like.
And Ben Chaplin.
Where's Abby?
She's not here.
I just heard her voice. I know she's here.
She's not here. Here. She's in the bathroom taking a bath.
The truth about cats and dogs.
It's Brian. He wants to talk to you. Tell him to come back and have dinner. I don't think he can be dissuaded. Tell him if he doesn't come back and have dinner, I will call the whole thing off. You're the boss.
Welcome back to the show, listeners.
Labor Day weekend episode.
It is a Labor Day weekend episode. Thank you for being part of it with us. Everybody out there listening, my name's Pete.
And I'm Scott, and these are the movies that made us gay. Welcome back to the show.
Yes.
Another great 90s movie to talk about.
90s banger.
And we have a really fun guest today.
Yes, indeed.
Our guest plays Richie on Minx on HBO Max and is the podcast co-host of Inside the Disney Vault and Podcast Killed the Radio Star. Oscar Montoya, welcome to the show.
Oscar, welcome to the
finally.
Oh, please don't stand up. Oh, my God. Just sit and clap, everybody,
guys.
please. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming on. I kind of threw this one on you last minute.
And I love it.
I usually sort of discuss the movie with the guest and we pick like the kind of an option that really fits them, but I just texted you.
You're like, you're doing this movie.
Do you want to come over and watch it and watch The Truth About Cats and Dogs?
And I was
with
fully
us?
on board. Yes. Good.
So yeah, we watched The Truth About Cats and Dogs, directed by Michael Lyman. Second Michael Lyman movie that we've done. The guy that did Heathers.
Okay.
Written by Audrey Wells, released April 26th, 1996.
Wow.
96.
Where were we in 1996?
Ooh, girl. I mean, I was in grade school at the time. I do remember when this movie came out, and I have a specific memory renting this movie with my mom when it was probably the dead of winter, just like a snow weekend. We're going to the video store. We're renting everything because we're just going to stay at the house for a few days. And I remember renting The Truth About Cats and Dogs.
Okay.
And just initially loving it. Like, I loved this movie as a kid. I think that I definitely wanted to be Abby Barnes when I was a
Didn't
child.
we all?
I wanted like my own radio program.
Okay, I see that.
I also grew up like watching shows like Rosie O'Donnell too, so I always felt like I wanted to be like a talk show host.
Yeah.
So I'm almost there.
Okay, I see it.
We can talk a little bit about.
You're
we can talk a little bit about. We can talk a little more about that later.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what about you two?
Yeah, where were you?
I saw this in the theater.
I saw it with some like high school girlfriends, friends that were girls.
Not girlfriend,
No,
like
no.
girlfriends, friends that are girls.
Yes.
Were you out at the time?
No, not in 96. Maybe in like 97.
Oh, so the
I
next
feel like.
year.
The next year, yeah. Saw it in the theater. I was already very aware of Janeane Garofalo. I already had a deep love for my girl Janeane, and was just like, yes, anything that she's in.
What was your first exposure to Miss Janeane Garofalo?
Oh God, my first exposure was probably stand-up specials on MTV.
The big HBO one.
Yeah, I think my watch is talking to us. She had an HBO special, a half-hour comedy hour, and she was on the MTV stand-up show. I forgot what the MTV stand-up show was called, but they would show that. Just thought she was really funny. She was on the short-lived Ben Stiller show.
That's right.
On Fox, which was a sketch comedy show. And she was also on... Michael Moore had a television show, and it was called, oh God, now I'm going to forget the name of the Michael Moore show. But she was kind of it was kind of like a...
Was it kind of like a Daily Show type of thing?
Prototype Daily Show, but very
Interesting.
leftist, very like... Yeah.
And this was on what channel?
That was, I think it was on Fox as well.
Fox?
Like network television, yes.
Whoa.
This was on network.
Okay.
Because much like most people my age... we had cable, but it was a very on and off thing. Like sometimes we had cable, and we didn't have cable, and sometimes it was on sale, and sometimes. But I do specifically remember Michael. It was something. Oh God, it was something television. US. I'll figure it out. She was on that. Loved her from that. And at this point, I mean, we had already had Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
The name of the movie is
Gattaca?
No.
I'm sorry, Reality Bites. I
Yeah.
was immediately thinking about Uma, but yeah,
No.
Reality Bites. And we should also mention Janeane Garofalo, like one of the first ladies of our podcast. Our very first episode,
I love her,
was Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. So we
Naturally.
go way back with Janeane on the show.
Yeah.
Last spring, we did a face-off of The Truth About Cats and Dogs
Versus
and Reality Bites,
Yeah.
and Reality Bites
won.
did win by a landslide.
Yeah.
A landslide.
A landslide.
We
Yes,
got
it
a
did.
lot of love for Truth About Cats and Dogs.
At the beginning, we got
a lot of
and
replies
then,
that I love that movie. You should do it. So we always held this movie in our back pocket. Of that, this is a movie that I used to love as a kid.
Still do.
I still do. I watch this movie very regularly.
Yeah.
So I am glad that we finally got to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you recall the first time you
Yeah.
saw this movie?
The first time I saw this movie was my older sister was really into this movie.
Sure.
And then that's why I there was a little bit... I fought this movie. When the
Okay.
trailer came out, my sister was into it, and anything my older sister was into, I was not
Against.
into at all.
Okay.
So, she was really into Aerosmith, and I was like, I hate Aerosmith.
Yeah.
She was into Romeo plus Juliet. I
Right.
hated
No.
Romeo plus
Oh,
Juliet.
no.
She loved Titanic. I hated That's a movie I have yet to see.
Wow.
And did you
Because-
notice the poster?
That was the first thing I noticed, and I was like, "Whoop, let's just ignore this
And
sinking ship."
and we have covered both movies on the show.
Yeah.
Romeo plus Juliet and Titanic.
I have seen Romeo plus Juliet
Yeah.
since as an adult and loved it, but The Truth About Cats and Dogs is a movie that I saw as an adult,
Sure.
not as a child, and really liked it.
Yeah.
But there was Janeane Garofalo love is strong within me.
yeah.
Right? She was like every
She was it.
gay man,
Yeah.
sort of like fag hag.
I was going to say, Janeane Garofalo is that type of crush when you're a little gay child of like, I'm just super into Janeane Garofalo. I think
Absolutely.
she's cute.
Yes, that's a pink flag.
Which is always
absolutely.
a huge like rainbow flag.
Absolutely.
For anyone.
If you have a loved one, a child that you're questioning, like, is this person gay or queer? Toss in a Janeane Garofalo film, and you will have your answer.
Absolutely.
Because no queer person is lukewarm or ambivalent about Janeane Garofalo.
Yeah, she is our asexual queen.
Yeah.
And
Right. I
we
think
love
she's.
it.
I mean, is she? Does she?
I think she's kind of like alluded to it.
Okay.
Didn't she also
yeah.
have like a secret marriage that she kept from the public
She
for like,
did. I do remember
for
that.
like decades?
Not decades, but I think she was married for a while, and then it just not happening
It didn't work.
anymore.
But,
And
you
it
know,
was just one
marriage
of those
sometimes
things.
doesn't work for people. That's
yeah,
fine.
It was one of those things where she was just like, "Nope, I'm done. I did it.
Yeah.
Never have to get married again."
Honestly, icon.
Right? Yeah. Honestly, it worked.
She might be onto something.
She might be onto something.
I saw Janeane Garofalo perform stand up at the Wiltern Theater here, and probably 2001
Wow.
or 2.
I always wanted to see her
and
stand
her
up.
opening act was Zach Galifianakis.
Wow.
It was like pre
A
everything.
little unknown Zach Galifianakis.
I had seen him on Conan.
Did
and
he
I
have
was
like the prop? Wasn't his big thing props?
No,
like
no.
drawing or
Props.
That's
No.
Gallagher. That's Gallagher.
That's Gallagher. Yeah.
I might be thinking of,
No,
of
his-
Dimitri Martin.
Oh yeah, Dimitri
That-
Martin.
he's got the win loser draw.
Yes. He
Zach
was used during that time. The aughts.
Yes.
He was
Yep.
a big aughts.
Zach's
comedian.
thing was the keyboard or the piano. Like a
sure.
full grand piano. Yeah.
Oh.
And he played songs and the whole
I
thing.
didn't
It
know
was
that.
really funny. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we love Janeane. Uma was hot.
When
at
I
this
was
time.
a child, I was obsessed with Uma
Of course
Thurman.
you were.
Ooh.
Like obsessed.
She's your like Aryan icon.
But yeah, there
You
was
said
just
Icon.
something.
Icon.
There was just
Your
something about
icon.
her that I mean, this would have had to have been my first big Uma movies. That I don't think. I mean, I definitely wasn't watching.
You weren't watching Pulp Fiction.
Pulp
at,
Fiction
like,
or Dangerous Liaisons
12 years old?
as a kid, and I didn't grow up on Baron Munchausen. But I just remember watching her when I was a little kid,
Yeah.
and just thinking that she was so beautiful. And also, we just watched this movie. She's super fucking funny in this movie.
Yeah,
Like she could
she's
land
great,
a
yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
And
An
she's
absolute
gorgeous.
star. And to even think like the movie she did before was Pulp Fiction, and then to do this, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
whiplash of
Pretty,
genres, like
polar
totally.
opposite.
right. And she aced both of those. I thought.
And
you know?
I remember reading when I was in the 5th grade that she was going to be playing Poison Ivy, and I was so excited
And
for
you're
it
like, fuck
when I found that
me.
out of that.
Yeah.
Noelle
Which you've
from
covered
the
on
Truth
the
About Cats and
pod.
Dogs.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Noelle from The Truth About Cats and Dogs is going to be fucking Poison Ivy. I could not wait.
So I also have an older sister that I talk about on the show every now and then. My older sister Amy, and I was the opposite of you. She was very influential on me. You know, her and her friends were into like Britpop and like obscure shit and indie movies, and I mean the '90s were a big time for indie movies.
Absolutely.
So like I saw Ewan McGregor in that like Under the Floorboards movie before Trainspotting.
Shallow Grave?
Yeah, and like all that, and I remember my sister in high school, and she went to USC in college, but because we lived in LA, she didn't live on campus because it was like an extra like $1 million.
Yeah,
like,
why
a year
would
or
you?
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she still lived at home with us, and my sister had an Entertainment Weekly subscription, like from the time I was like 14.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we always had EW in the house, and she's reading probably like the whatever summer movie thing or the fall movie preview, and she's like, Uma Thurman's playing the most beautiful woman in the world in a movie with Janeane Garofalo, and I don't know how I feel about it. And I was like, well, if Janine's in it, I'm in.
Well, objectively speaking, let's be real here. Uma Thurman is beautiful.
I mean,
but she's got some weird proportions.
She
to her
has
face.
those. She has the. I mean, Tyra talks about this on Top Model. She has the crazy model proportions that she has such an angular face.
Angular face.
Yeah.
Well, she's
big ass eyes.
It's the thing that Tyra says. You have some features that are just so exaggerated that you look. She looks good for modeling. She was,
She was.
She was a print model or probably a run. I don't know if she did runway, but she does have a very interesting face, and I
Right.
know that like she is considered a extremely beautiful woman, but she's not like Maxim cover
right.
hot,
Because here's the
right?
thing. It's like when it comes to like deciding what. I mean, for me, I don't know if a girl's hot. I think a girl is hot, but like, do straight men?
Right.
Are straight men like hottest girl in the universe, Uma Thurman? You know what I mean? Are
what's
people
straight-
saying that?
You know, straight guys about Uma Thurman, like they love Kill Bill and all
Right.
that, and they loved Pulp Fiction. But straight guys have a hang up with Uma Thurman because of her height.
Yep.
And they have
She's
a
too
hang up.
tall, you
She's
mean?
too tall, and they have this whole she has big feet. And
Right.
she
Big
has,
feet and big hands.
And she has man hands.
Yep.
And she's not like tiny.
I remember.
She's not a
I remember
demure.
when like
She's not
Star or the Inquirer
Scarlett
would do celebrity
Johansson.
flaws.
Yeah.
I remember Uma would always make it because of her hands.
Wait, say that again?
Do you remember like when
Star
tabloids
magazine?
would do like celebrity flaws? And I remember Uma Thurman
Her
was in
hands
it with
were her
hands.
flaws?
Her hands were her flaws.
Oh, no.
Uma
She
has
has,
lovely
like,
hands.
long
She's a
fingers.
model, but not a hand model.
Not a hand model. She's got long fingers, and like I guess she has like a big foot. I
No
guess,
wonder
but-
Quentin Tarantino loved her
There you
freaking
go.
face.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you get
Oh,
those.
my
You
Lord.
get those
Yeah.
those shots of her trying to wiggle her toes.
Oh,
in
my
the-
God.
in the pussy wagon.
So,
Yep.
Quentin, ugh, gross.
But my sister's reservations with this movie are very interesting about just kind of like the overall idea of this movie.
Which I get.
And Janeane has since kind of distanced herself from it.
this movie?
Yes.
Huh.
Because according to Janeane Garofalo, it was originally going to be a smaller independent movie. And she said when Uma became attached, a studio picked it
Okay.
up, got a bigger budget, and turned into more of like a rom-com with a happy ending. And I guess the original intention was to be a little bit more character-driven,
Okay.
less like jokey, and really explore this idea of beauty, and female friendships and,
Right.
competing for men and things like that. And she just kind of feels like it turned into a little bit more of a fluff.
I got the
Piece.
I got the actual quote.
You got the quote? All right, let's hear it.
Ooh.
I think it's soft and corny, and the soundtrack makes you want to puke, and everyone's dressed in Banana
Yikes.
Republic clothing. The original script and the original
God.
intent was very different from what it wound up when it became a studio commercial film. It was originally supposed to be a small budget independent film where there would be much more complexity to the characters, and Abby and the guy wouldn't end up together at the end.
Okay.
Which I get, but I still kind of have a soft spot for
No,
this
we
movie.
love it. It's
that
good.
I know that it's corny,
Yeah.
and they talk about Abby like she's a troll. And it's clearly, when you're looking at Janeane, like...
Yeah. They talk about Abby like she's like disgusting and has like a hump on her back. And then they talk about Uma. What is her character? They
Noelle.
never say her name, Noelle, because she's Abby so much in the movie. The whole idea and the jokes in the movie is that men are constantly like tripping over themselves around Noelle. And I would imagine that Uma Thurman, and especially 1996, 25-year-old Uma Thurman, is probably very striking if you see her out in public.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because she's so tall and these blue eyes and this blonde hair and all that. But
Big clownish feet.
Big
claws that drag on the floor.
these ape-like knuckles. But I feel like a lot of girls, regular girls, and like my sister was very much like, oh, give me a break with this like beautiful woman that these men just can't handle themselves around. And my sister and her friends were a little bit more. They weren't exactly like riot girls, but they were a little
I
bit
get
more.
it.
Like teenage feminists in the '90s, and they were just like.
So this movie is really not their demographic.
Right.
My question to the both of you is, who is this movie
Who's it for? Yeah.
Who's the target
I think
audience
they were
here?
just going for
I
a
think
rom-com, a
kind of
90s rom-com.
straight,
just-
probably
yeah.
realistically
Date
straight
movie.
audiences date night.
yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Because it's weird to me too. Because I do agree with you. It is like a very sort of saccharine, by the numbers rom com. But having Janeane Garofalo there,
Yes.
she is
Yeah.
so not. Even in Hollywood, I mean, it makes sense that this was an indie movie that then became this Hollywood movie, but Hollywood would have never casted her in this movie
Oh,
because
absolutely,
she is
yeah.
so unconventional,
Yeah.
even for this character.
Yeah.
And especially where she would have been attached to the material to begin with. So
Right.
she was already there
Exactly.
before the studios could even cast the Abby role.
I bet you
Yeah.
I bet you some studio was even trying to get her out
Oh,
of this
probably.
movie.
Yeah.
And trying to cast somebody else.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But it's interesting because she's such an alt actor to me, especially at the time, 96.
Yeah.
That I was like, Janeane Garofalo, what is she doing in a rom-com?
Yeah.
You know, and I was
Yeah.
expecting it to be a little bit more sarcastic.
Yeah. And she's giving that
Absolutely.
in her performance.
You can sort
but
of
it's
tell
like the script is
and you can also tell the lines in the script that she probably punched
had
out.
a hand in. Yeah. yeah.
Or like improvised, or was
Yeah.
just like, you know.
And I think she brought in a lot of kind of like alt comedy people. So she plays a Frasier-like character. Like you said, I didn't make the Frasier connection for the longest time, but
Oh my God, the opening song is like, is this the Frasier theme song?
Howard Shore, by the way, it's like he went from this to Lord of the Rings. Okay. I mean, not
Oh, he
back
made
to
Lord of
back,
the
but
Rings.
he's the
name sounded
composer
familiar.
for
Okay.
Lord of the Rings.
He'd
yeah.
done stuff with
But this just sounds
Tim Burton.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
just sounds so like I don't know.
It's eclectic.
Yeah, very eclectic. But her callers on her radio show, they are comics, right?
Yeah.
David Cross,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, from-
okay.
I was trying
Arrested
to get
Development.
the girl that calls in the last scene.
That's Marilyn Rajskub. Listeners, you may know her from 24.
Yes.
Okay.
But she did a lot of... She's a comic. She started off doing stand-up. You'd know her face. She's in the Weezer video for El Scorcho. She's the pizza delivery driver. I love Marilyn Rajskub. I've always thought she was really funny. Bob Odenkirk is in the bookstore. Bob Odenkirk's from Better Call Saul, but I mean, he's
he's one of
wow.
those.
comic.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
mean,
get that.
He's with David Cross, who's Mr. Show with Bob and David. He's just in the background of the bookstore.
Okay.
It's his credit is bookstore man.
Wild.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the B guy that we said has the '90s face. That is Mitch Rouse, and he's a big comic. He was in Strangers with Candy. He's done a bunch of Reno 911 episodes.
No way.
So I think Janeane just kind of, I don't know
She was able to pull
in
some
what
strings.
capacity
'cause
she brought
She
all
was
these
like,
people in.
do you want to
but-
get a day's
yeah.
like a day's paycheck?
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
the most of the callers, one of them sounds like Robin Williams doing a bit. I'm like, is this Robin? What's going on?
Is it a man or is it a woman?
Is it a
I don't
lady?
know.
Yeah,
it's the one
yeah.
with the basset hound.
The one-
with like the
one with the Basset Hound
the
is,
Bloodhound.
is David Cross.
Yeah.
But the one about getting licked in the face for 3 hours, I'm like, is that Robin? Is that you? Like, I can't tell. But yeah, there's a lot of comedy, like
that's
heavy
what-
hitters in there.
That's what Frasier did too. Like all of the
Yes,
callers
they
were
were
all
all-
these Broadway mega stars.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a nice little Easter egg for
Yeah,
the people that
totally.
knew. You know.
I don't think this is part of Janine's crew, but Jamie Foxx is in this movie randomly.
Well, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he was a stand-up person.
I mean,
He was a
and he
stand-
would
yeah.
have just been
Yeah,
coming
he was
off
a comic.
of In Living Color,
True.
so it
Yeah.
was probably just one of those things
He was
that
probably
his
actively on it at that
his
time.
agent was
like
just
Wanda,
like,
that was
we got to get you in
96, yeah.
movies. How about
Yeah.
Ben Chaplin's friend, maybe
Slash
coworker? We're not really sure.
we were watching this and we did comment on like, this seems like such an unnatural matchup.
Yeah.
Like, I know the focus is like, look how odd Uma Thurman and Janeane
Yeah,
Garofalo
yeah.
look. But for me, it was like Ben Chaplin and Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
In what universe?
Yeah.
The
Literally.
90s weren't quite as progressive that it couldn't be a gay best friend.
No, not at all.
guess.
Oh, people were not ready for that.
No,
We had Janeane Garofalo. You had
I know,
a gay
that's
person.
all
No,
you
too
got.
Only settle for one.
Too much. Yeah, you can have a Janeane. You can have Janeane Garofalo or a gay person,
Yeah,
but not
absolutely.
the both. Mm-mm.
But you know what I do have to say is that Jamie's lines are, I mean, they're slightly dated, but at the time,
Slightly.
all that in a bag of chips in 1996, that was
Absolutely.
cutting edge, girl. That was like, ooh, what did he just say? Did you hear this?
Oh
man?
my god!
Did you hear this man on
I
this
did.
day?
I was like groaning a little bit because I'm like, oh, why are you giving the only person of color that line?
Yeah.
All that in a bag of chips, really?
Yeah.
Also, like, yes, I appreciate that Jamie Foxx was the POC representation in this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Otherwise, I mean,
Otherwise, we got nothing.
besides the makeup counter
Yeah,
girl,
Yeah.
who to me the real star of this movie,
Oh my god, we'll get to her.
there was no color in this
think
movie at
one
all.
of the guys in the booth, he was kind of brown.
He looked sort of Hispanic.
I rest my case. I rest my case.
But you're absolutely
no, but
right.
yeah, you're
a
right.
movie that takes place in Los Angeles and there's two black people
In
it.
'96, get out of here. We're the Latinx people.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I mean, Jamie Foxx did have to say some cringy lines, but at least he didn't have to do a damn anywhere.
I know.
anywhere
That is
in the
very, very true. That is very, very
He
true.
didn't have to give us a.
I mean, this would have.
exclamatory damn.
So I'm looking at Jamie Foxx's IMDb. I mean, this was his second feature movie outside of TV.
Wow.
And his debut movie was Toys with Robin Williams.
I remember that.
Wow,
Yes.
he's
so
in
interesting.
Toys.
Yes.
That is a good pub trivia question.
Right, yeah.
And maybe it is Robin on the phone.
It could be
The Jamie
Robin on the
Foxx
phone.
connection. Bring in every LA comic. You
I
can
love
find.
Toys so much.
You
Have
know,
you seen Toys?
That neither of us have seen.
I've never
Toys.
seen it.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding? Okay, now that needs
And
to be
it's
an
got
episode
Joan.
of this movie.
It's got Joan.
It's got Joan.
Because it's
Yep.
a gay ass movie.
I know. It's got Joan Cusack. I mean, come on.
Oh, it's great. It's
Yeah.
great and so fucking insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway,
Okay. We will.
we're not talking about toys. We're talking about the
We're
truth
talking about cats and
about
dogs.
cats and dogs.
Janeane Garofalo's Abby Barnes. She is a Frasier-like Los Angeles-based veterinarian with a radio show on a talk radio
Obsessed.
terrestrial radio station.
I want to live that life.
And takes
Scott
these phone
said
calls.
goals.
Yeah,
Goals. She
Hashtag
works
goals.
in that big high rise right
on
off like Santa Monica Boulevard.
an ocean,
Yes.
like where
Ocean.
Santa Monica terminates
Ocean
an
Boulevard,
ocean.
yeah.
Yeah.
But y'all are pretty. Y'all were like mouthing up like specifics on the West Coast. I don't go there.
It is a
so-
West Side set movie. It's not
Yeah.
like we're using exteriors that are like somewhere else. That is all Venice and
all
Santa
based
Monica.
in Venice
So,
and Santa
as
Monica,
people
yeah.
that have been to the West Side, this supposed West Side
yeah,
I've never
the mysterious,
been to.
yeah.
How factual were the locales?
I don't
in
think
this
you
movie?
can just pull up your vintage Toyota Land Cruiser on Santa Monica Boulevard and just park right in front of the high rise and then leave it there and run inside the building.
I feel like
That's
whenever
probably fiction.
the few times that I've been on Ocean Boulevard, it's always just packed with cars.
Oh yeah, this was a very what's the Will Smith movie where there's nobody left?
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend, very I Am Legend version of Los Angeles.
Pre
There
Santa
was
Monica Pier before
nobody-
they did the big reno of it in the late
Yes,
90s.
There was not a single ride on that
True.
pier. There was no.
or maybe it's a post-apocalyptic
There you go.
movie.
She's doing this radio show and like nothing's plugged in. She's just talking into the void.
The calls are just voices in her
They're
head.
all yeah, no. All the streets in Santa Monica and Venice are blessedly free of people, which is not a thing. But it does, like Scott said, the Venice canals, that grassy kind of park area that's right above PCH, the cliff. All that
I
is
think that the bar that
very
they went
central.
to, I think I've seen it. It is down the street from the promenade.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a couple of.
What did they say the name of the bar was in the movie?
He just said there's a bar. He was like,
Okay.
there's a bar. It's on
Just
the corner
a
of this
bar.
and that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But you know what they did in this movie, which I appreciated? They never do in movies. When they were at the bar, he was like, I'll have a
specific drink?
Jim Beam and
Yeah.
a Corona.
Not just a beer.
I was like, wow. Because usually in movies, they're just like, give
the
me a beer.
specificity.
Okay.
Okay.
There was some drinking in this movie.
There was. That's a social lubricant. you know?
Absolutely. Is Janine's character, does she have social anxiety? We know she just, I don't know. I think they make her a little down on herself just more than like the average person.
Okay, so here's what I'll say about that part. The whole crux of her character
Yeah.
is that she is a very intelligent, well-spoken person, someone who prides themselves on being very smart, very
Yeah.
cultured. She plays the violin, right? And has what I would say vitriol towards men who think that they're all only there for like the aesthetic,
Right.
Like they're only into like the hot girls, right? Like you could be as smart and as intelligent, as cultured as possible, but if you don't look like Uma Thurman's character,
Right.
like Noelle, they're not interested in you. And as a viewer, I'm like, who hurt you? Where is that history? And I would
Yeah.
love to know where it came from, where it stems from, where that
Right.
theory comes from.
I mean, just being a single woman in LA in the 90s, I guess.
yeah.
Maybe.
Because Janine, her whole thing is that she's not conventionally attractive. But watching this movie now, I'm like, she was cute as hell.
I know.
Right.
I think she's totally cute.
Yeah.
She's a sexy babe.
Every girl that I would talk to about this movie at the time, they're like, she's so cute.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that like the photo shoot. Like, she's so cute in the photo shoot. Like in that one scene,
Adorable.
Yeah, yeah. And she does have that like alt cred, and so she does, she dresses a certain way on stage. She presents herself in a certain way, never in like a sexy or provocative looking way. But I think she's we all think she's pretty, but she's a gal and she's entitled to. She's a woman. She's
True, and I think Hollywood definitely marketed her as like the smart.
Yeah.
Sort of like eye rolly.
Yeah.
I mean, all I think about is like, Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion. That is Janeane to me,
Heather Mooney.
Absolutely.
That is Janeane Garofalo, right?
That's her character.
Yep.
That's who she,
And it probably figures that I think that there's the most Janeane in any role that she's ever played, or the most input that she's had with a character is, I mean, it's probably Heather Mooney. Of that she was just given like do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fast talking, but just very quick, all that. And yes, she lives in this beautiful apartment building, wisteria covered.
She looks like her landlord should be Ann Miller from
Mulholland Drive. Yeah. And she's neighbors down the hall with Noelle. And immediately when Noelle, like you were saying, the people in this movie look at her like she has like a second head. Like, it's so crazy. We have to talk about Noelle's boyfriend / manager, Roy.
Oh God,
who takes 15%.
Hey, he said that's normal.
But because he can't, he forgets what apartment Noelle's in, whatever. And he opens the door and he's like, ugh.
Classic movie bad boyfriend.
Absolutely. Allergic to cats.
I think he's a little bit more, though. He's
borderline
like,
abusive.
Yeah. He's like telling her she looks fat and like, you look ugly in this, and telling her to shut up and all that. Oh, yeah. He's verbally abusive.
You're her manager?
Yeah.
You get her work. Like, she's a working model. What do you mean she's fat?
Yeah.
Right?
Seriously. And like, she's prepping an audition, and he's like, shut up, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is to get a
Don't
job.
you want your 15%?
I thought the exact same thing. Yeah.
Sabotage, self-sabotage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Destructive behavior.
But I don't know. I think with Noelle, it's like, it's not just that she's beautiful. It's that the way Uma plays her, she plays her so like fidgety and like she like her eyes are always like darting, around, and there's stuff in there about how she doesn't eat food. She orders food and doesn't eat it. And then there's a weird scene with him like feeding her the cake, like eat the cake.
And
like,
that's why she fell in love with him. She was like,
I guess
this is a little like
I guess just
eating
sort of,
disordery. I don't know.
I was gonna say just sort of classic model jokes.
yes.
Too.
And also very much a product of its time.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 90s were so toxic when it came to like weight and stuff, So, but I do think that she handled that role so well. I mean, yes, she's so funny in that movie. But what I love about the character of Noelle is that she never saw herself like she wasn't like this big diva. This is like someone who is a working model. I cannot stress this enough.
Yeah.
She is a working model. She's good at what she does.
Yeah.
She's in magazines.
Yeah.
She's in movie, you know what I mean? Whatever she was shooting in.
She was in she did. She got a movie role at the
Do you know what I mean?
movie,
Like, she works. She's very good at what she does.
She's got that
but that
Pennzoil
doesn't.
calendar.
But her career doesn't like influence her personality. Like, she still seems very like down to earth. And as a matter of fact, like, not really that confident.
Yeah.
Which
Like
is
Noelle would
incredibly
never
refreshing.
describe herself being beautiful.
Exactly.
If she had to describe herself as a person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that to me is such an interesting take on that trope.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And also the other thing tied to that is we see, and this is like what's so surprising about a movie that came out in 96. Like, it wasn't a toxic female friendship.
They're not fighting over the man.
Yeah. Because it could have been that movie.
I mean,
There are moments when it gets there when, a lot of the times Noelle is like, I know he's yours. I'm going to back off. You should go for him. You should go for him. You should go for him. And then there's that one moment where she's just like, and she's very apologetic about it afterwards.
Yeah.
She spends the rest of the movie apologizing about, like,
Right.
fuck, I shouldn't have,
But this is the same. This is the same era that brought Brandy and Monica's The Boy's Mind. So you have that dichotomy of like where we were in pop culture.
Single white female was like 1 year earlier,
exactly.
2 years earlier. Yeah.
So to me, this is something that's really, really unusual.
Classic best friends cinema. Yeah. I'm a sucker for shit like that too. If it's like you have two women in a movie that are friends, like I'd love that.
And I think it is inherently queer.
Yes, absolutely.
Two women that get along with each other is so gay. To me, that's what makes this movie gay.
They get to hold hands walking in the mall.
Oh my God. They're learning stuff from each other. Like they complete each other in a weird way. Yeah. Honestly, I'm just going to say it. A lot of their problems would be solved if this was a poly relationship.
There you go.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they were open to like
they
a
just got
throuple
over
situation
it and had a three-way in the apartment that
and that's
night.
what I thought was going to happen when they got all drunk and stuff.
It kind of hints at it. They are drinking a lot of that tequila.
And the 90s was the era of the threesome film. There was the movie Threesome
covered on our show.
Then there was the other one with the other Baldwin. With Billy Baldwin, he did a threesome movie.
Three of Hearts.
Yep. Three of Hearts.
Yeah. So the 90s was like all a buzz with the ménage à trois.
But like that scene where she brings a bouquet because we see Janeane sort of like confronting this toxic boyfriend / manager and he breaks her bow. And then the next day you see Uma show up at her job with a bow and flowers.
And a huge bouquet of flowers.
If that isn't a romantic gesture.
She has like her cute little monologue about
my God.
Shopping for violin bows. It's like looking at a car.
Yeah, she's like bought the Toyota version of the bow. I would fall in love. I mean, honestly, I would be like, I think I love you. Right?
What are you doing after this? Yeah. And I mean, it sparks up this friendship immediately. And I think that a character like Abby probably wouldn't consider having a friend
not at all
like Noelle.
Yeah.
And that's what one of the guys say when she's flipping through the newspaper and she sees that picture of Noelle and she's like, oh, I know this person. And the guy's like, no, you don't. No one that pretty would ever be into this ugly troll like yourself.
That's also a very a very LA thing is to be watching a commercial or to be looking at like a magazine and be like, oh my God, I know this person.
They were working the door at the club the other day.
I think that I just saw a friend of a friend in a Domino's commercial.
And you're like, oh yeah. Wow, it's a lot closer than, what I think.
Yeah.
When you're in that circle, you see that Domino's commercial and you're like, I auditioned for that and I didn't get it.
Damn it. So that motherfucker got it.
Okay. All right. So they went blonde with the role. Okay.
Oh, no.
But yeah, there is something very sweet of just how, like, vulnerable and just, like, nice Noelle is.
Because she means well the entire time.
That she just immediately wants to be Abby's friend.
Absolutely. And even that part where she, like, has some sort of feelings for the guy.
Yeah.
She feels really bad about it.
You can see on her face that she knows that it's wrong.
I know. Yeah. But also, it's like, what would you do if you were stuck in that situation? If you were
Ben Chaplin's pretty cute. I don't know.
I was going to say, I want to talk about Ben Chaplin for a minute.
Yes.
But we do have to talk about what would you do if this happened? And your friend that you just met was like, you got to pretend to be me because I'm too fucking ugly.
The fact that she was so on board with it from second zero.
I mean, she must have
like,
been
sweet. Give me those headphones.
I like to think
Abby.
that Noelle maybe took a few classes at the Groundlings.
Noelle's got some improv.
She has some improv
she's
yes and skills.
Yes anding that shit. Yeah, okay.
Fully committed to the bit. Absolutely.
He ran in and the door was locked and sorry.
Brian, right?
Yeah, hi, Abby.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, it's lovely to meet you.
You too. This is my friend, Donna. Hi.
Hello. You didn't show up yesterday?
No, I'm sorry. We had this emergency thing, didn't we, Donna?
Yeah,
Cat emergency.
It was a situation. Feeling panleukopenia.
It happens, but it's okay now.
What?
nothing. Sorry, it's just you sound completely different on the air.
Oh, you should hear me in the shower. Microphones, darling. They work wonders.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But yeah, I want to talk about Ben Chaplin. This is the first thing I'd ever seen him in. Yeah, at the time I was a teenager, and I was just like, who is this British man with that eyebrow?
That one eyebrow.
Kind of sexy though.
No, I was into it. I was like, all right.
But also, like, was that the look? It was so funny because, like,
was the
even
look.
even in beauty standards, like, he is British, therefore hot. But even that unibrow, like,
Yeah.
I thought was so unusual.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't ask him to pluck it or shave it or anything, I thought was so
Do you think
weird.
Do you think
Yeah.
casting was like, we want a Hugh Grant type, and
I
then
was
they
gonna
brought in Ben Chaplin. They're like, all right, I guess close enough.
I
was gonna
think
say,
so.
doesn't Hugh
Yeah.
Grant kind of
Nah,
have a
that's fine.
unibrow? I don't know. I feel like Hugh Grant kind of has a
No,
unibrow
Hugh,
thing going
Hugh
on.
Grant is like perfectly plucked, like completely sterile. He's like the sterile British man.
Well, you watch the old movies. Go look up Lair of the White Worm.
absolutely, I love him in that. It's
Maurice.
the best role he's ever done.
Morris, yeah. Man, I haven't seen Lair of the White Worm in forever.
I
But
love that movie.
remember that. Isn't that like an erotic thriller?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I
Also
was like,
very
there's
gay.
some,
Also
like, yeah.
cover it on your
Yeah.
podcast, please.
I was gonna say, I remember stumbling across it as a kid and feeling like I should not be watching this.
Oh yeah, that
because there's some eroticism going on.
you know that movie was offered to Tilda Swinton, and she read the script and was like, "This is too weird for me."
Wow.
Tilda Swinton.
Okay.
I am
Too
not familiar with this
strange.
movie.
Okay.
Are you Scott? Are you
yeah,
serious?
I don't know how he missed it.
What is it called again?
Lair
of the White Worm.
Oh,
Oh my God, Scott!
It's an erotic thriller.
incredible.
But okay, it's got Hugh Grant, but a very young Hugh Grant, and I don't know why I feel like
No. But he was like didn't grow into his
yeah.
Hugh Grantness
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that time.
Until the
this was very
90s.
like
Yeah, yeah.
scrappy Hugh Grant.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So, so Ben Chaplin's in this. It's kind of his
Yeah, what is he giving?
debut. But I don't know. To me, he was just he's charming. He's unassuming. He's sexy, but not like in a overtly like
Right.
the movie's set in LA, and it's like he's not like an LA guy. Like
No.
he's British. He's foreign. So he's not giving me like
Oh, that's something interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think about.
God,
Yeah.
you know what's also wild about somebody like Ben Chaplin? I don't know if Ben Chaplin has ever played the lead in any movie. He's always
Okay.
part of an ensemble, usually
Yeah.
starring across.
Do you think this is his biggest part?
I mean, he was in Murder by Numbers with Sandy Bullock, and he's like...
Who did he play in that movie?
He's like her partner. She's a she's
that
like,
was Ben Chaplin.
She's like a CSI like detective.
Oh,
or
I
something.
literally saw that movie a month ago.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's the guy in that movie.
He's the
Okay.
guy.
Has he not aged well? Oh,
He's
Wow.
a part of the 50.
I mean, they
A-list-
have a toxic relationship in
Yeah.
that movie where she's just like fucking him, and he's like,
He's
"I
also-
like you," and she's like, "I don't fucking care."
He's also a part of like the 50 people that are in the Thin Red Line.
Thin-
too.
Right. Okay.
Oh, got it.
Interesting.
I always remember also Ben Chaplin from Birthday Girl with Nicole Kidman.
I've never
He's-
seen
he
that.
Which
movie.
no one's
He
seen.
plays the British man that orders a Russian mail order
Mail Order
bride.
Bride,
Oh,
played by
gosh.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, Nicole Kidman.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
Is it as good as I hope it is?
I think it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, dark comedy.
Well, in this movie, he takes his shirt off.
Yeah,
I was very
does.
happy to see. You
He
get a lot
does.
of
classic phone sex cinema.
this
The phone sex
Phone
scene.
sex.
We were like,
I was a little
clutching
shocked.
our pearls.
a little scandalized
Yeah.
by this phone sex of them not talking.
Yeah.
How about that?
I know that was. I was like, "What is this phone sex?"
The point of phone sex is to
You're sort of groaning
Dirty
and
talk.
what are you doing? What's the point of this? This is pre-Zoom,
Yeah.
Skype. So
pre-text messaging, pre-sexting.
pre-sexting.
Yeah.
So all you had
You
was your
gotta listen.
voice.
Yeah.
So is it phone sex if you didn't say a word to each other?
Right?
I don't know. And let me say this about those cordless phones in the 90s. They would run out of battery.
They
and
would,
you'd have
yeah.
to put them on. They would start beeping in your ear. Like,
So how long was that session? Do you think?
she said
She said 4 hours.
No lies.
the whole call.
The whole call.
Yeah. The session itself.
Oh, sure.
Not 4 hours. Because they had to take a bath. They
That's
had to
right.
make that tuna sandwich with no pickles.
I don't know how I feel about the no pickles on a tuna sandwich.
You're pro pickles on a tulip.
Very pro.
Very pro pickles on a tuna sandwich. on my sandwich.
Sandwich.
But yeah, they had that long call, and their cordless phones did not beep once.
I have a question.
Yes.
And Google will tell me the answer.
Okay.
Who was People's Sexiest Man in 1996?
Ooh, that's a
Okay,
good
so
question.
let's all guess.
think about it.
All right,
Ooh.
let's think about this. I am going to say 96, I think, was around the time. I'm going to say Harrison Ford.
That is a great
'Cause
guess.
I think that maybe Air Force wanted to come out, and
I
it's
think you might be right.
always like a PR move that they have
Absolutely.
a huge movie coming out. Like, there's a reason why Paul Rudd got that last year. It's like the month that Ghostbusters was coming out.
Right. Didn't help at all. But I'm going to say someone like Denzel Washington.
Denzel's a good one.
96. Maybe that might be later, but yeah, maybe Denzel, maybe. Yeah, Harrison Ford is a really good guess.
Okay, wait. Who did you say?
I said Denzel Washington.
I said
And you
Harrison Ford.
Well,
Who is it?
it is Denzel Washington.
Oh my God, are you kidding? Shut
Yeah.
up, you liar.
It's Denzel.
Did I guess
Yeah, you
correctly?
guessed right.
Oh my God. I've never won anything in my life. before.
Clooney was 97 and Brad was 95.
Wow.
Has Harrison ever been one?
Oh, I'm sure
yeah,
he has, but it's weird. I have to scroll like one by one. Harrison was 98.
Okay.
Also,
So you're close.
That's like
Same
7
ballpark.
years.
And
7
Brad-
years, 7 nights.
And
Yeah.
Brad was
Yeah.
again in 2000. He got 95 and 2000. Brad Pitt.
Because the Mexican was coming out.
I was just going to say
Yeah.
that was the
Yeah.
Mexican.
He was
Yeah.
doing press for
cares
the
about
Mexican.
that?
Yeah.
But it's so funny to compare
Denzel.
someone like Denzel Washington to Ben Chaplin, who is supposedly our Denzel in this movie, right? And it's interesting because, like, what was the beauty standard of a man during that time? It was like not ripped, not like a big.
No, yeah,
It's
no.
not like it's not giving bear. It's not giving
Yeah.
like daddy. It's not giving like big stocky man.
Skinny.
Skinny, right?
Skinny white guy.
Skinny with some definition and very little hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he has kind of a hairy chest.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Which, in that way, it's a little subversive.
I mean, the accent adds a lot.
Because
Absolutely.
because when you think of like somebody like Brad, Brad Pitt is to blame for
I mean, King Twink.
for our male standard of beauty today, these bodies. But I mean, Brad Pitt's pretty hairless. Richard Gere was the year before that.
Yeah.
Clooney, we never really see Clooney's body.
No.
Has Clooney
Yeah.
ever really been shirtless in a movie?
I can't even think of it. I don't want to know.
No, he was the daddy.
Yeah,
People
'cause
were
he was
into
the
daddy.
He's
look.
just always been old. He was old
yeah,
in the
salt and
90s.
pepper hair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I feel like Ben Chaplin. It's like 90s sexy guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, Friends had just started.
Yeah.
And I think this is going for that kind of like 20-something.
Yeah,
age group.
that's true. He is like leaning closer. If we're doing the Friends comparison, he leans closer to David Schwimmer.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was going to say David Schwimmer. Probably. I mean, I
Ross?
could
I don't
see
know.
probably in the height of Friends.
Oh, Ross.
Like maybe if the studios had their way of that, all of those Friends stars were getting movies thrown
Absolutely.
at them. I could see David Schwimmer on the list.
It's
of
so
actors
funny
for
because
this movie.
it's so okay. I talk about this a lot because here's a little fun fact about
Sure.
me. My biggest celebrity crush is David Schwimmer.
Oh, okay.
And I get roasted every time.
It's pretty funny.
I
though.
say it. It's funny, but I think he is the hottest man to ever
it's an
exist on this
interesting
planet.
choice.
I'm trying to think that when I was
know.
a kid, who of those I thought were the cutest, and I hate to say, I think I was more into Matthew Perry, which I think of that now, and I'm just like,
Is that
Chandler.
Chandler?
No,
Like,
I was always Joey.
Joey. Oh wow! Look at us, the three of us. We got different boyfriends.
Matt LeBlanc.
yeah.
I mean, if you want to go like the men of Friends, you've Michael Vartan was on that. Was on for a
That's
couple
right.
episodes.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck, yep.
You've got Paul
John
Rudd,
Favre.
You know who else was on there?
Fabs, yep.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, yep.
So
One episode.
I Hate Rachel Club.
But yeah, I mean, 90s standards of beauty, like male, like Jason Priestley.
yeah, that's
And,
what I'm
you
thinking.
know,
But
Yeah.
also, these are all men that are kind of, I mean, they're all skinny.
They're all skinny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, Ben Chaplin's skinny as hell. Like
Yeah.
they're not gonna get a Jason Momoa
No.
to be in The Truth About Cats and Dogs.
Yeah,
no way,
yeah.
right?
Probably was a factor in his casting too. Had to be his height, because Uma Thurman is like 6 foot tall.
She's tall.
And so the guy
There were moments
who's
where she looked taller than he did.
him. And the guy who's playing against her, they're not gonna. I think they had to be like, he's got to be at least 5'11".
How tall is Ben Chaplin?
Yeah, that's.
So he couldn't be taller than Uma.
No, he couldn't be shorter than her by like a significant amount, because I think that would turn guys off, like straight guys.
Sure. A lot of women.
I love that you made that distinction.
but that said, a lot of women are weird about stuff like that too.
Yeah, women are weird about that stuff. Ben Chaplin is 5'10" according to Siri.
5'10".
Yeah,
And
Okay.
Uma's. This is the moment of truth.
I know. 6 foot even. Yeah.
She's taller than he
Yeah.
is.
2 full inches.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I mean,
That's
that-
interesting.
Yeah, that's significant. And I mean, and Janeane in this movie, we just kept commenting the entire time. Janeane is 5'1".
She's tiny.
She's 5'1" and looks it because
She's
she
tiny.
is. Yeah.
She's tiny and looks tinier anytime she's in a scene with Uma Thurman.
Yeah, they look crazy next to each other, and it's so funny.
But I'm glad that they didn't give Janeane like an apple box to stand on. I like that they kept the height difference.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
This is just these two women hanging out.
Right.
One
and
is
they
just
couldn't
very,
look
very
more
tall.
different than the other. Even in the way they dress.
Yes, yeah. Their wardrobe, their styling is a little kooky in this movie. Janine's wears she'll wear like a cardigan and like a t-shirt. Like a
Yeah.
V-neck t-shirt and like a cardigan, and Uma wears like skirts, long skirts,
Like Little House on the Prairie
flowy,
sort of vibes.
Yeah, and she'll like have layered like a cardigan and like a camisole and like something wrapped around her
Right.
waist and then the long skirt and then like a slip over it or something, like really kind of kooky. Little Phoebe Buffet, Back to the Friends.
You're right, actually.
Yeah. Their styling is funny, but I do love their scenes together. I love the scenes in the mall.
So funny.
You know, she gets the makeover. You know, the woman at the Clinique counter. We love her. That
Icon.
is- icon. It's a great scene.
Icon. She is. I know that she's a gay man. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
That was a gay man.
Well, you know, and the other thing too is that like, I'm pretty sure that like makeup counter professionals work on commission.
Right?
Absolutely.
So when she brought back all that stuff, yeah, she's pissed.
She was pissed.
She's like, okay, I just lost this however hundreds of dollars sale.
That's why I love Abby when she was like, thank you for making the exchange. And thank you for your attitude as well.
I'm like, yeah, she's mad.
She's mad. She's mad.
But yeah, we quote that scene a lot about the free radicals.
The free radicals.
Absolutely.
The regime.
From the regime.
Speaking of free radicals, can we talk about the soundtrack of this movie?
Oh yeah, like adult one. Like what's
Contemporary.
the adult contemporary station of LA?
Well,
I mean,
at that
it used
point, it was
to
like
be
104.3.
104.3.
Yeah.
I mean that's it's very different now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of 103.5.
103.5, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Was that the Coast? Yeah. There's K-Big and there's the Coast. Those are the good.
Soundtrack by
contemporary.
like Sting.
Sting was there. Who did we hear in the soundtrack?
The
So
big
there's
needle
Suzanne-
drop was
Suzanne Vega.
Suzanne Vega, which I love that.
Suzanne
that is a
Vega.
very that is a very sexy song.
Wait,
Caramel,
when?
Caramel by Suzanne
Caramel.
Vega.
It's when
Vega? Yeah.
it's when they're
It's when he's feeding her the cake.
it's when he's feeding her.
That's
the cake, yeah.
okay. Wow. So, all right, a big artist in the 90s.
Yeah.
This is Tom Steiner, Suzanne Vega.
Yeah.
Who else do we have?
Blues Traveler, the song at the
Traveler.
bar, which was everywhere at this time.
Everywhere.
I mean, Run Around. That song is
right.
Is huge.
And we got that on the trailer too.
Yeah.
Run Around. Who else do we have? I think I heard who did I say? I was like, is that
Oh God, let me see. So we've got there's a Dion Ferris song in there, but it's not.
But it's not I know.
Why is I Know having like a moment right now?
It's because it's a great song.
It
And also
really
TikTok.
is. Yeah, TikTok. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was like, why is
TikTok is the reason all these songs are coming
Are
back.
just people just
that or
find
Stranger
them?
Things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People just find them and they're just like, oh, listen to what I just discovered. I'm
Look
like,
at this very old song.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh God.
I'm like, bitch, I was watching that video on
Yeah.
VH1 in my room.
Cowboy Junkies. I like me some Cowboy Junkies.
Cowboy Junkies.
Yeah. There's a Squeeze song.
Squeeze.
There's Blues Traveler, Robert Craban, Jill Sobule. Where do we begin? There's Paul
I don't know why I
Weller.
think that Boss Skaggs.
No, there's no Boss Skaggs.
I always
in
think
here.
it's the song when they go over to his apartment for the photos, but it's not.
Oh.
That is not it.
Who is that?
That is God, who is it? Is it Paul Weller? I'm not sure what song it is, but we were you mentioned Ben Folds 5.
Ben Folds 5.
There's a Ben Folds song in there.
Jill Sobule.
I Kissed a Girl. She
I
kissed a girl before Katy Perry did. Brand New Heavies.
Oh wow.
What
My
did Brand New
God.
Heavies do? What was their big song? I remember the hell out of them, but I can't think of like their heavy rhyme experience. Okay, The Far Side. Oh man, I love them. Well, classic 90s. It's a very like
Classic
a coffee
90s.
shop soundtrack.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just that kind of mid-tempo, like chill music.
Would this be like an impulse purchase at like Sam Goody maybe?
That's
I wasn't that big of a soundtrack buyer.
Oh, I was.
really.
Yeah.
I still am. Whenever
no,
we
you
go
love-
to like,
you love the
whenever we go to
soundtracks.
record stores, I usually
Yeah.
go right to the soundtrack section.
Yeah.
It's got I'm a big soundtrack person. What was the first CD you ever bought?
Oh, the first CD that I ever bought. I think I bought 2. You go.
I think it was Cardigan's first Band on the Moon.
Great album.
Yeah.
Great album.
With something with My Money.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it was
yeah.
first Band on the Moon.
my gosh.
Definitely.
money. Oh, that's okay.
definitely one mine that I bought with my own money was Mariah Carey.
Love it.
That's
so
the one
you-
with like
so you've
emotions.
been gay, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. We already been new about that one. That's one with emotions and Love Takes Time and Someday.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's the one.
Wow.
That and then the other one. I don't know if I ever like. I think I've said this to you. I think the other one was Kathy Dennis.
Touch
You love
me,
Kathy Dennis.
touch me
All night long. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was green. Starting it over.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you another Kathy Dennis song to save my
Oh
life.
no, yeah. There were 2 on that album.
What about you?
My first CD that I ever bought with my own money was Jamiroquai's Traveling Without Moving.
Love it.
But the first CD I got that I forced my aunt to get me because I would never ask my parents was the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack.
I love that's one of my favorite Whitney songs.
It's so
Yeah, good. I think that's like, I mean, no one usually says that, but I think that's one of my favorites.
I have to agree
Yeah.
with you. I have to agree with you. Shoop Shoop is so good. Sitting up in my room, not gonna cry. Listen, it had all the jams.
Sitting Up in My Room was on the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack?
You better believe it.
Oh.
You better believe it.
Okay. That was a good one.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that soundtrack's so
That
good.
was 95.
We got to do
Okay.
Waiting for Exhale on this show.
You haven't?
It's been
No, I
it's
haven't.
been a while since I've sat down and watched it. It is time.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's time. You're right.
Yeah.
It's time. Duty calls.
Absolutely.
Our gay duty calls.
Yes.
Do we want to talk a little bit about sort of the classic framing device of Cyrano? I think that's kind of interesting. Something that you saw a lot at this time of just sort of classic literature or play. I mean, in this
Like a modernized take.
take on this movie. It's Cyrano, and I mean, we just saw like Clueless, and that
Absolutely.
sort of was its own take on Emma.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was just kind of looking up.
I think it took me a hot minute to figure out that it was like a Cyrano kind of story.
Yeah.
So what are some adaptations of the Cyrano
I was looking
story
them up
that
this
you
week.
found?
Roxanne, from the
Roxanne.
80s,
Yeah.
with Daryl Hannah.
Steve Martin.
This is some Steve Martin erasure right here with Daryl Hannah.
I immediately go to Daryl Hannah. I don't know why.
Because you love blonde ladies.
Whatever It Takes, I think, has like a
Whatever It
Cyrano-
Takes.
We were
yes.
just talking about Whatever It Takes the other day because we
Oh,
were talking
That's
about
the teen movies that no one talks about
Mr.
anymore.
Shane West.
Shane West.
And we're just
Shane
talking about
West,
those
wow.
those teen movies from the late '90s that you don't really see a lot of love for.
Yeah.
That
Whatever It Takes,
just sort
I do
of
remember that.
just sort of disappeared into obscurity.
So is that the one with him and Marla Sokolov?
Yeah.
Oh my
What's the one
God.
with Cisco and Kirsten
Yes,
Dunst?
Get over it.
Exactly.
Get over it.
Right after we talked
And
about
that
that
is,
one.
Perfect.
And speaking of
I said, and that's
and
Cisco
speaking
Kirsten
of takes
Dunst
on the
one.
classics, I believe that is a Midnight Summer's Dream.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Midsummer
I mean,
Night's
it wouldn't
Dream?
be like a teen version of The Tempest. I think it's
No, you're right.
Too
Yeah.
I think
crazy.
it's
Oh my
Midnight
God.
Summer's Dream.
What's the name of that movie?
Get over it.
Get
Get
over it. There was
over
also
it. Oh my God.
She's the Man, which is a take on a Shakespeare story.
That's
The
Viola,
Twelfth Night.
Twelfth Night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
I was
They really
thinking,
were
like,
retreading.
I was
Yeah.
thinking of Sydney White, but that
Sydney
is-
White.
That is Snow White. and
Justice
Seven
for
Dwarfs.
Sydney White.
They're both Amanda.
Amanda
right?
Bynes movies.
Amanda
Yeah.
Bynes vehicles. Yep.
Wow.
That's
Oh,
right.
Justice
Oh
for
my
Amanda Bynes.
The Ugly
Truly.
Truth.
Free Amanda.
The Ugly
Ugly
Truth
Truth.
was like Katherine Heigl, kind of her streak of romantic comedies with her and Gerard Butler.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
of course, there
that
was
like a Cyrano movie?
Cyrano that came out earlier this year, and it did not do that well.
It did not.
Yeah,
No.
I did not see it.
I didn't either. I meant to, and I just never did.
Yeah, the trailer, I was intrigued.
Same.
I wasn't mad at it.
Same.
I was like, these songs are okay. I was like, is it the La La Land people? Because I
is it
actually
the La La
like these songs. But we didn't end up seeing it. And then I thought to myself, I thought, Peter Dinklage is very outspoken about little people and their causes and things like that. He had this whole thing about the Disney live action Snow White movie, and he didn't want the title to be the Seven Dwarfs because it's incorrect.
yeah.
And I guess whatever, even though I thought it was called dwarfism, but that's not for me to say. But the whole thing about Cyrano is that the Cyrano character, his whole thing is that he's like grotesque in some way. And it's usually this exaggerated nose feature that they do in movies.
Right.
But in this
Steve
version, Steve Martin. And in this version, you're grotesque. You're just little.
Really?
You don't have a long nose. You're just a little person.
Huh.
And so I'm like, why was he cool with that? Because that's what I'm assuming. I haven't seen the movie.
Maybe there's a moment in the movie where he addresses that.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. But I'm assuming the idea, because the idea classically of the Cyrano story is that the character
Right.
looks crazy, and that's why he feels
Looks like Janeane Garofalo. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a cave troll.
The poetry of his voice to kind of as an outlet
Right.
for
Yeah.
Right.
Is it Christian
I think so.
in the story?
Yeah.
Before you came over when we were eating dinner, we were watching the Roseanne episode.
Where
Oh, yeah.
and Jackie does community
That's
theater.
right.
And she's Roxanne. Yeah.
So
So
I mean, sitcoms also like bunch of Cyrano episodes. There's like a
Oh,
Cyrano
yeah, always,
episode
yeah.
in every
If
sitcom.
you don't know what to bring to the writers' room,
you bring your Charles Dickens.
Yep, you bring the
your-
classics. If you need to, you need a Christmas episode on the fly.
Yeah.
It's either It's a Wonderful Life or
Right.
A Christmas Carol.
Or a Christmas Carol. And then every now and then you're gonna throw yourself a Cyrano in there.
Right.
Boom.
And you're good to go.
I think-
Emmy, baby.
I think we just
Think
developed a
crack the
sitcom right now. Did we just write a hit show?
I think. Wait, I just got a notification. We
is
just
it
got nominated for an Emmy.
Is it Showbiz?
Yeah.
On the line? I think it is. But yeah, it took me a minute to kind of put two and two together. I don't know why I just wasn't thinking about it.
I think I remember reading about it in Roger Ebert's review.
Sure. Which we also watched at the movies with Siskel and Ebert, and they both really liked it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
they
they
give
were
him
both-
2 thumbs up.
They're both very positive.
Roger
about it,
Ebert
yeah.
goes to bat for Janeane of that. He thinks that she's beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, she is.
Yeah.
Who is watching this movie and saying Janeane Garofalo is ugly? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they couldn't even say it in the movie.
Yeah, they didn't say it.
They
yeah,
didn't
they never
say
said
it.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. I
Shaking
think,
my
and
damn head.
I think they had to do a lot with her wardrobe and her styling and all of that. Because and the big scene that people always point out is when they do the photo shoot when they're all half in the bag on on tequila. She's got a fresh slathering of brown lipstick sitting in that chair. I mean, it was the 90s.
It was the 90s.
Earth tones were all.
Oh my God! Yeah,
And a dark lip.
Yeah, a dark brown lip. Like everyone thought they were Judy Davis. I will say, I don't know if there's like a time jump at the end of the movie because her hair is significantly longer in the last scene.
Well, I mean, maybe Noelle was away on this shoot for a month and a half or so.
When Hank the dog, who I love that dog.
Cutest
He's
dog.
such a cute dog.
I think he's like a Mastiff and a Great Dane mix.
There you go. Because he's not as bulky as a Mastiff, but he's big like that.
Yeah, he doesn't quite have the Great Dane face.
Yeah.
too.
When Hank the dog shows up with the roller skates and the paper bag, her hair is significantly longer, and I always thought she looked so much better in that scene style-wise than she does throughout the rest of the movie. I don't like the length of hair on her.
Okay.
In the rest of the movie, I feel like it's too short. She needs a little bit more length, and in that scene, it's a little bit longer. I don't know. She's just she does have more makeup on than she does the rest of the movie too, and I think they purposely made her look a little bit better in the end.
Yeah.
Because
she learned to love herself. That's why.
Yeah, she finally loves herself.
Hollywood, Well,
because Hollywood, and we wouldn't believe that Ben Chaplin would fall for this this bridge witch.
All I'm saying is Ben Chaplin is not a 10. You know what I mean? Like he's like a 7 or an 8.
He makes more sense with this character over Noelle.
Yeah,
absolutely, exactly.
He looks gettable. Like he looks like any one of us could land him.
He looks gettable. Well, slow down. Maybe not me, but but still, like he doesn't look like hot.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx looks hotter than Ben.
Totally.
You know, so I'm like, what's going on here? This is so funny. But you're right. Like they look good together. Uma and Ben, no.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Also. What movie's Uma shooting?
What's
this movie about?
She's like
St. Pauli girl.
I was gonna say she's like dressed as like a Swiss Miss,
Swiss Miss, St. Pauli girl. I don't know.
But I take it that it's like a.
Is it a foreign movie?
But is it a movie? It's almost like it's
a commercial.
It's like a commercial.
Okay.
But, I mean,
how long does it take to shoot a commercial?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? You know, if anything, I'd like to think she was like a featured extra in the movie.
Yeah.
Where they were shooting in Switzerland, like Heidi the movie.
I was going to say
maybe
maybe they're doing like a Fox is doing like Heidi.
Yeah.
She's like townsfolk.
She's like townsfolk number 1. She's townsfolk number 1.
Yeah, number 1. She's
up there, but she's still a town. She doesn't have a name, you know.
She's on the call sheet. But
she's on the call. Yeah, she's like number 40,
but she's on.
But she's on it.
Uma Thurman's always one of those actresses that I always just hope the best for her, because when you look at her career, it's like she's had a lot of successes, but a lot of it is tainted with like
tainted.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, it's tainted with like sort of the Miramax brand.
You are
and
right.
just sort of
absolutely
all of the bullshit that she probably had to put up with, like Harvey Weinstein and making the Kill Bill movies.
I mean, she did make a statement about that.
There was that like car crash that she was in when they were making Kill Bill.
That's right.
That they kept like.
Did you see the
hidden for
tape?
years?
I haven't watched it.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to see
like,
it.
she probably has seen a lot of shit in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I always feel like I always want the best for her.
Also, question for the both of you.
Yeah.
Where does Uma Thurman fit in the Hollywood puzzle?
Right.
Like, who is she?
Yeah.
Like right now, or
yeah, sure. Like right now.
I mean, you know what she's about to do? She's about to do that gay Prince of England movie.
Gay Prince of England
Blink,
movie.
blink. What?
Hold on, let me.
What are you talking about? Yeah, it's her career is very interesting because she was part of this like kind of power couple for a long time.
Right.
And then it almost felt like Kill Bill wasn't like a comeback for her.
But in a way it was. It was marketed that way.
Yeah.
And right after the Kill Bill movies like finished, she made that movie with Meryl Streep that nobody really saw or cared about, Prime. And then I think that was the time of her career of that. All right, if there's going to be the Oscar nomination, if it's going to come, it's going to be for something like The Producers, and then it just didn't
you're
quite,
right. She wasn't.
It just didn't quite like pan out.
Yeah. And then it's like she had like mainstream appeal, but not like she didn't break through.
Right.
Because they were trying to make her this like sort of mainstream a like what's that movie, that rom-com where she's a superhero?
My super ex-girlfriend.
My super ex-girlfriend. Yeah.
And that bombed terribly, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, like
she's also
Hollywood-
like alt also
Hollywood
in some
didn't
way.
quite ever know what to do with her
Yeah.
outside of like a Tarantino.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Tarantino knew what to do with her, which is just stare at her
She
feet.
she is filming a movie. She's filming a movie right now called The Red, White, and Royal Blue. The son of an American president sparks a royal prince.
What?
So it's
the
like
hell?
it's
For
like
Lifetime?
it's like
For Lifetime.
a gay prince and a gay son of an American president date. It was a
Work.
big book.
Work.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this like a real story based on a real story?
No.
Okay. This
But
is
it's you know, you remember all those movies where like Mandy Moore was like the president's daughter.
you know who else was the president's daughter?
Amanda
Bynes.
Yeah, there was a big run of those. For
There was a
while.
huge run of those.
Her dad was in like British Parliament or something.
Who?
Ah.
Uma Thurman?
It was Colin Firth.
Oh, you're talking about.
I'm talking about
the Amanda Bynes one.
What a Girl Wants.
What a Girl Wants.
Terrible title.
What's the
Kate-
Mandy Moore movie?
Chasing Liberty.
Chasing Liberty.
Liberty.
And then you had My
Katie
Date with the
Holmes.
President's Daughter.
Katie Holmes was in
Katie
one
Holmes.
called First Daughter.
First daughter. What
They
about,
were all over. Like, what was that obsession?
What about
with,
Prince and Me? Wasn't that like another kind
That
of
was
Wait a
Julia
second.
take on
Stiles.
that?
That's right.
Yeah.
Julia
Prince
Stiles
of
did it
England goes to
too.
college in like Wisconsin or something.
Yeah.
I think that's the tail end of that whole phase.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a.
But
that
What a
was-
Girl Wants and Chasing Liberty were like the
Those were the
epicenter
ones. Yeah.
of that genre.
Oh man.
My God.
But I know what you mean about where does Uma fit in
Yeah.
Hollywood,
Right.
and that's probably something that she's always struggled for.
I
with.
agree. Yeah, I think so. Because she's not really. She seems like such a wild card when it
Yeah.
comes to like box office success. Like you don't know. She's been all over the place. You know,
Yeah.
she's given us big hits. Like the Kill Bill movies did really well.
Yeah.
I wonder how well this movie did. Do you know?
I think it did pretty well.
It did well,
Yeah.
right? So like it's not really the genre. It's just like her as a star. She's not a bankable star.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that she needs to get on I mean, she's done a show for Apple. Like all of the Apple
Right.
programming of just like they make all of this content and it just disappears
Forever.
into the ether. That it's just sitting there on my
Yeah.
Apple TV
Yeah.
app that I will probably
never
never
watch
watch.
it.
You're like,
it.
oh, this
Yeah.
was a show. Oh, interesting.
But she needs to be on like a show for HBO, Showtime.
Right.
She needs to be on like her damages of that she's like
like, she needs a Glenn
high-powered,
Close
like,
moment.
like
Yeah.
a high-powered like district attorney.
Interesting that you
Yeah.
went to TV.
I
Yeah.
think
Well,
that she
that's where, yeah.
like she needs to lean into TV.
Okay.
She was on Smash.
She was not.
I think she was on Smash. I think she got like an Emmy nomination for Smash.
The singing show?
Yeah,
That isn't Glee?
yeah. It was the one where they're like doing the Marilyn Monroe.
She was
musical.
on that? Did she
Yeah.
sing?
She did a guest appearance on Smash.
Wow.
Yeah. Mhm.
Holy moly.
Is
I
it
didn't
Smash
know
or
that.
Smashed?
Smash.
Smash.
yeah.
Okay.
Smashed is like you're drunk.
Yeah. That's something else. This opening weekend made 6.7 million, and
Okay. Respectable.
it did about 34 worldwide.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess that's respectable
Yeah,
for
it's
a rom-com.
mediocre
in the 90s.
hit. Yeah, it wasn't like a big hit, but also like this was supposed to be an indie movie.
Yes. Yeah. The apartment building is in Hancock Park. How about that?
No
So
way.
it wasn't all on the west side.
Whoa.
lie.
Hancock Park.
Yeah. O'Brien's Irish Pub on Main Street in Santa Monica, where she spilled her sauce.
I mean, Uma's movies that she followed this with. I mean, Batman and Robin, Dr. Pamela Isley, like gay icon. Just like I mean, that's just drag.
That is her gayest
drag
movie.
icon.
Yeah,
It's
right?
just- You
Like,
can
that's
just
her
quote that
gayest
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, my vines have a crush on you. Yeah, absolutely.
Gattaca. I used to love Gattaca. as a
Gattaca, we
kid.
love.
I have
still
not
love
seen Gattaca.
Yeah.
Gattaca's
Really good.
great.
Yeah.
And then I guess she made the Avengers, and maybe everything was a little different until
The Avengers.
The not Marvel
They
Avengers
really
was
were
probably a little
banking on that
different
one to be a
until
big hit.
They were. Yeah.
Tarantino
Yeah.
called her
Right.
up. Yep.
So in a way, you're right. It was a bit of a comeback for her because
Yeah.
the Avengers really tanked her
Yeah, it did.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
which is a shame because she's such a good actor.
Yeah, she did that non-musical Les Mis.
Is she?
She
Fantine?
is Fantine.
Yeah.
Wait, non-musical Les Mis.
There was a
Yeah.
serious Les Mis that
98.
was not Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah, it's just
or not Andrew Lloyd Webber. I meant Macintosh.
Yeah, it's just
It's
just Les Mis. It's the
just
book.
an adaptation
Yeah.
of Les Mis.
What?
Yeah.
Who else was in
Liam
that movie?
Neeson, Jean Valjean, Jeffrey Rush as Javert, Uma as Fantine.
Did you see it?
I've never seen it.
I've not seen it.
How about this one? Claire Danes as Cosette.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Wow.
yeah, and it was 98. 2 hours and 14 minutes. Oof.
That book is large.
Yeah, it's a lot. Billy August directed it. I don't know what else he directed.
I mean, you know what Uma's...
But she did some like serious stuff in
Do you know
there.
what sort of Uma's contribution with fashion is with the Oscars? When she was nominated for Pulp Fiction, she showed up in a white dress from Prada, and it was pretty much the moment of, oh, I guess all of us have to start wearing like designer. labels now. And I think that's sort of like the one that everyone always mentions. Of,
I
like,
see.
The moment that like fashion at the red carpet really like took
it
a
makes
turn.
She
Yeah.
is a model.
Yeah.
But yeah,
She
showed
wears
up in
clothes well.
Yes,
she
she
showed up
does.
in a really beautiful white Prada dress.
Wow.
Okay. It is very interesting to think about Kill Bill being a comeback vehicle for her, even though it came out in 2001? 2003. But yeah, and I think right now she's getting to this point where she's, at a certain age, and maybe
Probably working a little more. I like to.
Yeah.
I think this movie coming up is going to. I
hope so.
I think people
Also,
will watch it.
here's the thing: Uma doesn't have to work all the time to
Exactly.
be relevant.
True.
She's got so much money already.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's fun to see her daughter Maya on Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Because when Pete and I watch Stranger Things, there'll be moments where Maya's saying a line, and I'm just
her
like,
voice
oh my
sounds
God.
exactly
Really?
like
It is.
Uma's
It
voice.
is exactly
Yeah.
Uma from the time she made Truth About Cats and Dogs.
Wow.
I get the most
The
from
vo- the
Uma when
voice
she
is
was
great.
in her.
It's that thing where you pick up, like, you're calling your
Mid-20s,
friend
yeah.
or whatever, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh hey, and they're like, it's their brother,
It's her
or
kid.
their
Yeah.
sister.
No way.
and Maya
Yeah, I
has
just-
that angular face, and she has
Yes.
like her. Maya also has her dad's eyes.
I think she's
Yeah.
got Uma's eyes.
She, I think it's like young Ethan.
Well, I think Uma Thurman needs her like Big Little Lies or something.
Yeah.
Let's write a show.
Her and Jennifer
I mean,
Connelly.
we just wrote a hit sitcom.
Okay.
We can do.
Would she do a sitcom?
Why not?
I've got it. It's going to be like for HBO. Her and Jennifer Connelly. They are like neighborhood, like housewives or
Drug
moms,
mules.
and they accidentally kill
No.
somebody,
Love that.
and they have to get rid of the body.
Love that.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the one with Christina Applegate though?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't.
Well,
watch that.
damn. But this one's no. But this one is on HBO, so there's gonna be nudity.
There you go. There you go. Take that, Netflix. Janeane Garofalo's had a very interesting career as far as like cinema and television.
And I think that she's probably intentionally rejected more mainstream roles
Yeah.
as her career has gone on.
Yeah,
too.
I know she likes to. I don't think she tours anymore, but I know she likes to continue to do stand up even
That's right.
after her, movie roles, got kind of bigger. I think she still always wanted to go back to stand up. I love watching her on talk shows. She's just a very funny, just listening to her speak, tell stories, talk to people. It's just funny. It's just I just love people
She's
like that.
really, and she's like really good in this movie. Here's the thing, like the trajectory of stand up into acting sometimes works. Most of the time it does not.
Yeah.
And she was able to like just take her authenticity, the thing
Yeah.
that made her special for stand up, and translate that into a film career.
Yeah.
That's really rare.
I mean,
Yeah.
we always talk about this whenever we talk about Courtney
Love?
Cox.
Oh.
That I guess that the creators of Friends, she says that she wrote Monica for Janine. with Janeane Garofalo in mind when she first wrote the pilot.
It would have
for
been a
Friends.
very different character.
Yeah, it would have been a very different character,
Absolutely.
but like,
With her.
I guess that was like the type of girl that she was
But
writing
like,
for.
I mean, in a way, that's incredible.
Yeah.
As you know, when it comes to like being an actor and like working on the industry, it's like a dream to be
Right.
like we're looking for a Oscar Montoya type. Like that's when you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm a name.
yeah,
you
I
know.
mean, she said no to Friends, which when you think about Friends, like it would have never worked out. Of just
Never.
what I know about Janine,
Absolutely.
that's just not her type of.
You know what
That's
would
not
have
her type of
happened
gig.
is if she was on Friends, she would have quit
Should've quit.
after
She
the
would've
first
quit.
season,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then Friends would have been gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or they would have retooled it and it just wouldn't have worked.
Oh, and it would have been
Yeah,
bad.
Yeah.
It would have been so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we have Wet Hot American Summer that we always
Oh
go
my
back
gosh,
to every
yes.
year.
So good.
So good, so stupid.
Have you listened to that movie with the commentary?
No.
You
That's
should
pretty
you
good.
should watch it with the commentary if you have the disc lying around.
Uh-huh.
Because
DVD.
Janine does this thing that's recurring that because there's so many funny people in it, she introduces them in just a really random role.
She introduces them from
What?
their worst role.
From their
She'll be
worst
like,
role.
Oh, that's
Like,
amazing.
This
overnight.
is, oh,
this
and
is-
here's Paul Rudd
this
from
is
Overnight Delivery.
Deliveries. Paul Rudd. Yep.
You may remember him. You know, and you're like, oh my god, why? But yeah, she's great. She's still, I mean, what did she do? 24. What am I thinking of?
She was on 24. I think.
24. Or
I
like
think
a
that
weird
she was a
series.
villain on
Yeah.
24 too.
I'm sorry. What?
I don't know if she was a villain. I think she was kind of like a computer techie.
She was
person.
probably
like,
geeky person that sits in the van with like a headset.
Yeah.
Wow.
Janice Gold on 24. Ooh, she did a lot of 21 episodes. Not bad. Season 7. She has an extensive IMDb. She's got a lot of stuff going on.
She's done, and she does a lot of voiceover stuff too.
Oh,
you know?
okay, okay. I mean, I remember for years the urban legend was that she voiced Daria. She did not.
She did not.
But you know what she did voice?
Who? Jane?
Not Jane. Scott, am I wrong? Was she the person on the recorded audio tapes on Felicity?
Oh, I never watched Felicity.
No
Okay.
way. Okay, we need to find that out.
I'm pretty sure it was Janeane on
That's
Felicity.
wild.
Yeah,
I wonder if
yeah.
it's just like a weird uncredited
It is.
Yeah.
It's uncredited.
role that's not in her
It's
IMDb.
uncredited, and there was no IMDb
Okay.
at the time, so it was like, who is it? And I think it was like EW or something.
What?
Yeah, yeah. So, but I mean, we stand Janeane. We always have. If you have HBO Max, listeners, look up the half-hour comedy hour. There's Janeane Garofalo. There's that Kathy Griffin.
Hot cup of talk.
Hot Cup of Talk with Kathy Griffin.
That one with Kathy is really funny.
So fun. Very early. She's like not even hardly even
Wow.
talking
she
about
doesn't
celebs.
quite have
'cause,
her,
like,
her
yeah.
celeb like
Her thing.
gossip.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's
thing,
a
yeah.
Margaret Cho on there. Like half our comedy are on
Okay,
HBO
Legends
Max.
only, I
yeah,
guess. Wow.
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on and popping, and Janine's on there, and it's a really funny one. Wow. It's super 90s.
Yeah.
she talks about like Weezer and Starbucks. You're like, okay,
That's a very specific take on
Very.
the 90s too. It's like regionally based, Seattle based.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, and then there's Ben Chaplin's career.
I mean,
We
you
kinda
know,
talked
that's
about what-
but it's like
what has he
Ben
been doing?
Chaplin still steadily works. I
Yeah,
mean,
he does. He works.
He was in the Cinderella live action remake in 2015.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, I
5
mean,
years ago.
he was in that HBO show The Nevers
Oh, okay.
before it got canceled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
The
Joss
Nevers.
Whedon. Cool. Oh yeah, Janine was in Ratatouille. I always forget about that
Yep.
one. Mystery Men.
Iconic.
Iconic, but when I revisit that movie,
You never
does it
finish
not
it.
hold up?
I don't know. It's kind of a chore to actually sit down and watch. it.
Really?
To finish it. Yeah.
Oh, because I remember loving Mystery
Yeah.
Man. Oh, I remember loving Mystery Man because Kel was in it. Kel Thompson.
Oh, that's right. He
Yeah, and I
is
was
in
just like,
that.
I love him in Good Burger, so I
Kel.
must love him in
Isn't his,
Not
isn't his whole
Kel.
thing is that he's like Invisible Boy or something?
Yes, yeah. No one pays attention to him. It's great.
Oh my god! Listeners, go out and find the Janeane Garofalo back catalog.
That's right.
Really funny in her one scene of the cable guy.
Oh, she's in the Cable
great
Guy.
in the
That's
She
Cable
right.
works
Guy.
at medieval times.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, they're all great in this movie, though. We love shit
Yes.
about cats and dogs.
No weak link, I don't
A
think.
movie
yeah.
that I will gladly sit down and watch this movie like
Easy rewatch.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
It's just like
yeah.
a light movie with enough cynicism that will make any gay person happy. So, yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And it's on HBO Max right now. Again, so
There
if
we
you
go.
have that, watch this and then go and watch some half-hour comedy.
It's on HBO Max for now.
I was
For
going to say
now.
HBO has been unloading shit like left and right these past few weeks, so it's there for now.
TikTok, motherfuckers. But so we love this movie. It's great. It was a lot of fun, and this was a lot of fun having you on, Oscar.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a
we
treat.
finally
What a
got to
delight.
hang out.
So much.
I love
know.
watching the movie with
Yeah.
the guests. And
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, indeed.
So
What
what
a
have you
treat.
been? What have you
Yeah,
been
tell us
working
what
on?
you've been up to.
Tell me what you've been up to.
Oh, speaking of HBO Max, I am on a show called Minx. It is an HBO original show about
Love
the
it.
first erotic magazine for women. It takes place in 1972, and I play a photographer.
It's so good.
Is that why you got me to do this? Because Ben is a photographer, and I was like, oh,
I did.
okay, I see
Absolutely
that.
is.
Yeah, I'm not a I just play one on TV.
I did not even make that.
Oh, I thought
connection
you did.
until
I was
now.
like, oh, the clever girl.
Were you in the room for the first episode with all of the dicks?
I was.
Because
yes.
I heard that they're all prosthetics except that montage scene.
Absolutely, yes. And I was there, and I had to take Polaroids of all 32 of them. And,
Wow.
there was no zoom
Yeah,
on a Polaroid, so
no.
I had to be
Get right up in
within
there.
inches of people's member.
Wow. Love
and
it.
at first I was like, ooh, this is so weird. But after the third one, it was like, whatever.
Next.
You know what? It was like so whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the show really changed me in a lot of ways because it like totally made me so whatever about nudity
Sure.
and about like men's bodies,
Yeah.
And listen, if you want to see dicks, you got to see Minx. 'Cause there's a lot of that in this show.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, you should watch Minx on
Your
HBO
chemistry
Max.
with Jessica Lowe, who plays Bambi, is very sweet.
love
I love that character.
her.
I love Bambi, and I also love the actress who plays Shelley.
Oh, Lennon Parham.
I think she's so funny. I
She's-
love that character.
She's incredible. Listen, Lennon is. She's so yes, everyone knows how incredibly talented she is, but she's so professional. Lennon has had 2 shows that were running. She actually gave me my very first acting TV job on her show playing House.
Okay.
Way back in the day. I can't even tell you when that was, 2015 or something. And she's so professional. She knows what's up. She's so funny,
She's really
kind.
funny, yeah.
And Jess Lowe is like a dang treat. She's literally so funny, the sweetest, also like perfectly weird too. Her and I, she's the best. I love everyone on the show, but to me, Bambi, of course, is like that's my homie. That's like that's my buddy.
Awesome. That's so cool. Well, we love the show.
I am also a sucker for vintage Playgirls. I love all that bullshit. I think it's so cool.
It's so
when you
so
go back
cool.
and look at old Playgirl centerfolds, it's so just fucking punk rock.
I love it. I love
it.
it. And truly very feminist articles in that magazine.
Oh, they would do legit interviews.
Yeah.
In Playgirl.
It's a real people can read Playgirl magazine. You don't have to ogle the penises. But also when I got the role, Ellen Rappaport, who's the showrunner and writer on the show, she mailed me a bunch of Playgirl magazines.
Oh, I love it.
And she just was like, get ready. And I was like, okay.
Do your research.
Great. Love it. Love it.
Awesome. Well, we love that show.
And you have
So good.
Inside the Disney Vault.
That's right. Yes,
Podcast.
it's a podcast that I have with my friends Claire Logren and Rachel Chapman, and it's a podcast where we go on a quest to watch every single Disney animated movie in chronological order, and we did that. And so we watched every Pixar movie in chronological order, and we did that. And now we're on a quest to watch every single Disney Channel original movie in chronological order. And we're almost done with it. We're literally 90% done with it.
Oh, wow.
So it's wild. The amount of Disney content I've ingested because of this podcast. Oh, my gosh.
How many episodes have you done already?
Hundreds.
Yeah.
No, I think maybe 106 or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So a lot.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, inside the Disney Vault.
Inside the Disney Vault. Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Well, check out that show, listeners. Check out Oscar on Minx.
Yes.
On HBO.
On HBO Max. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. This was
Thanks
so
for
much
having
fun.
me. What a treat.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you on again sometime. But until then,
one final question.
Yes.
If you were in Biosphere, who would you want to be? Playmates, Playmate of the Year, or Time Magazine's?
But
I guess
Time-
it's now Person of the Year.
Thank
it was
you.
it was Man of the
Yes,
Year.
Yes.
in
That's how
96.
dated this movie
Yep.
was.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely pick Time Magazine's Person of the Year.
Okay.
I think I have to go with Playmate of the Year.
I knew it.
Oh,
You'd
no.
seen the type.
Woman of the Year would always be like Janet Reno or something.
I know, I feel like,
what are you talking
would you want to be like
about?
stuck in there with like Mark Zuckerberg or something?
No, wait. Who was the Person of the Year last year?
Oh God, I don't even remember. We don't.
Oh, you're right, because I'm assuming that's someone. They're all intelligent people, but they're not really.
They're not. Sometimes it'll be weird. It was like Donald Trump one year.
That's
Yeah.
gross.
Oh man. Well.
Oh, what?
Something-
Who am I in a biosphere with? Tell me.
Oh, did you look it
Hold
up?
on, let me find it
We'll
out.
cut this together.
Watch it be TikTok.
It's Addison Rae.
No.
Is it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I looked up the man.
The UK president.
The Ukraine president.
He got the readers poll.
Oh,
I mean, he's pretty cute.
he is.
Yeah.
All right, work. Well, there you go.
Yep.
Who would you pick? You said Playmate.
I'm gonna go for Playmate. Scott's going for Playmate too.
I don't even think they even
Wow.
do Playmates of the Year anymore.
They don't. I don't think they
that's
do.
that has not been a thing for like a while. It is. The last one is Elon Musk.
Oh no!
So have fun.
Get me out of here!
Yeah. No thanks. Oh man. On that note, we will see you next time. We hope you're back soon. But it's time for those. Bye.
Bye.
And thank you so much for listening, everybody.
Great episode.
Yes, indeed. Truth About Cats and Dogs. It's on HBO Max. If you're like us, we bought it.
Yeah.
So we can watch it whenever we want. But this movie's a lot of fun. We love Janeane. We love Uma. We're stans of both, obviously, if you couldn't already tell. But thanks for listening, everybody. That was a lot of fun with our friend Oscar. That was great.
Is it time for Patreon shout-outs,
Patreon
Pete?
shout-outs, I believe it is. We love our patrons, and we love saying hello to all of them, including Flemish Giant, Jackson, Millie, Darcy, Ted, Benny, Jermel, Melanie, Christopher, Susan, JJ, Shelby, Michael, Charlie, Muffy, Paul, Jamie, Drew, Jimmy, Genevieve, Dawn, Joshua, Emily, Melly, Aaron, Melinda and Jim, Jessica, Nick and Shannon, Christine and Rufino. Thank you so
Thanks
much
so
for being
much.
patrons, everybody.
When you sign up as a patron, you get some pretty cool stuff. You get our monthly newsletter and access to all of the older newsletters, behind-the-scene photos. You also, if you are the top tier, you will get the Watch With Us commentaries, which are really fun.
Yes, indeed. They're supplemental episodes. There are over 20 of them, and we record a commentary track for a bunch of really fun movies. So you can sync it up with the movie if you own the movie, or if you can stream it, sync up the track, and we are delivering our sparkling commentary as
Or
the
you can
movie is
just
playing.
listen to listen in your car.
You can listen to it
Yep.
in your car or wherever you listen to podcasts as a supplemental episode, but I
Yeah.
think it's really fun when you sync it up with the movie and listen to it that way. It's
I have a
super
pretty
fun
good
and
idea
very
of
satisfying.
a
to do
movie
it
that we'll
way.
do sort of as a tie-in to this later in the month as a commentary. So
Cool.
we'll post about that.
And
when we
patrons,
record
if
it.
you ever have any suggestions or anything that you want to hear as a commentary, let us know.
Yeah.
You just let us know right on the Patreon app, or you can email us or hit us up on any of our socials. I'll give out our socials in a minute. We are on all of them, but we would also love it if you would rate and review the show.
Give us 5 stars, please.
Yes,
We would
indeed.
love to hear it.
If you listen on Apple Podcasts or
And read it.
Spotify,
Yes.
go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating. And if you want to write us a review, please do that. We will read the reviews on the episode, and you can listen to us reading your words. So we love it when that happens. We love all of the reviews and 5-star ratings. It's so great. Thank you so much follow us on socials. We are on Instagram and Facebook at Movies That Made Us Gay, on Twitter at
MTMUG Pod.
Yes, indeed. You can follow us on all those. You can follow our personals if you want. My name's Pete. I'm at Peter Lasagna on Instagram and Twitter.
Mm-hmm. And I'm Scott at Scott Youngballer on Instagram, and follow my letterbox.
Yes, indeed. So thank you so much for listening, everybody. This was a great show. We'll be back next week with another hot, piping, steaming, fresh, sparkling episode. Until then, bye.
Bye.